Hello students, welcome to another class. So almost we have come to the end of solutions students. So this class we are going to learn about fractional distillation. The other day we have seen steam distillation, and this class we are going to learn about fractional distillation. So kindly put the side heading in your notebooks, fractional distillation. This can also be asked as boiling temperature composition curves of two liquid components in liquid and vapor phases. Okay students, the questions might not be asked directly, but it can be asked indirectly as explain boiling point temperature or boiling temperature and composition curves of two liquid components in liquid and vapor phases. Okay, mole fraction or composition. So write down, put the side heading, and below you can write boiling point, boiling temperature composition curves for liquid and vapor phases of two liquids A and B. Okay students, boiling point composition curves for liquid and vapor phases of two liquids A and B. So why I am giving this also, because if this is not given in your notebooks and if the question is there in the question paper like this, explain boiling temperature composition curves of two liquids in vapor and liquid phases, you might just skip the question because you don't know the same answer for fractional distillation. I can answer here also. So because of that reason you might skip the question. So that's why I am giving the other way of asking also. After that, take a scale, pencil and draw this diagram carefully. Okay, so don't try to draw it with a pencil alone. Take a scale, eraser, pencil and please draw this graphical representation carefully students, without any mistake. So x-axis mole fraction or composition, y-axis we have taken boiling temperature. So boiling temperature composition curves or boiling temperature mole fraction curves. So the two liquid components taken A and B. So we started with 100% A and 0% B. So as we are moving from left to right, the percentage of A decreases, and as we move from left to right, percentage of B increases. So look, that corner A has become, by the time we reached here, A has become 0% and B has become 100%. So therefore at various compositions of A and B, we plot or we check the boiling temperature where various compositions of two liquid components A and B are being heated or being boiled. Okay, and next this is the curve obtained for the liquid component in its vapor phase, and this is the curve obtained for the component in its liquid phase. Fine students, so carefully all these dotted lines, these three lines carefully mark, and here X, Y, X2, X1, Z. Okay, here also mark the temperatures ma. Here T2, T, this one is T1. So you can draw these two curves so that you can leave some space above T1. Because this is a small whiteboard, I could draw this diagram. Okay students, T2, this temperature, T1. And after completing the diagram, so below write down, there are two curves now. One is the curve for vapor phase and the other is curve for liquid phase. So how these two curves are being obtained? So below I have mentioned, write down. The curve for liquid is obtained The curve for liquid, that means this one ma. This curve for liquid, underline students, is obtained by plotting the boiling temperatures of mixture of two liquids and their composition in liquid phase. So this is how we could get the curve for liquid. Below write down the curve for vapor. That means this curve. The curve for vapor is obtained by plotting the boiling temperatures of mixture of two liquids and their composition in vapor phase. I did not write that sentence because the same. Okay, so we can write it on our own. The curve for vapor is obtained by plotting the boiling temperatures of mixture of two liquids A and B and their composition in vapor phase. Underline curve for vapor and vapor phase. So let us see what this diagram explains. Okay students, so below the graph we can start writing. So what actually we observe when we take two liquid components and check their boiling temperatures in liquid and vapor phases. Okay, so first and foremost, let us consider that, or let us take the solution having the composition X. Okay, so almost A might have come to 90% and B might have come to 10% here students. Okay, so we are taking a solution of composition X. At this stage we are taking and trying to heat the solution having a composition X. Okay students, so we did not start here. We started heating the solution having a composition X. Okay, so 100% now has become 90%, 0% might have become 10%. So just assume. So we are taking a solution having the composition X, and when we heat such a solution, so it starts boiling. You all know a solution or a liquid, whatever it is, when we start heating it, it will boil after some time. Okay, so the first sentence, suppose a solution of composition X is heated. Suppose a solution of composition X is heated, comma, it starts boiling at this temperature. Okay, so X, the solution having composition X, when it is heated, so it starts boiling at this point which is denoted by T, that is the boiling temperature of the solution having composition X. Okay students, it starts boiling at a temperature T. Carefully write Suppose a solution of composition X is being heated. It starts boiling at a temperature capital T. Please put all these terms in inverted commas. X in inverted commas, T in inverted commas. Fine. So it starts boiling means we can observe vapors coming out of the solution whenever a liquid is heated and when it starts boiling. Okay. So now at this temperature means what? It is a T. Okay. Denoted by T. At this temperature T, the vapors coming off. So, when it is being heated, when it is starting boiling at the temperature T, so the vapors whatever coming from the solution, coming off from the solution will have a composition X1. Can you find X1 in the graph? Look into the diagram. Where is X1? Here is X1. So, the vapors coming off, when we checked for the composition, it is represented by X1. Put X1 in inverted comma students. Again, At this temperature, capital T, the vapors coming off will have a composition X1. What does this X1 indicate? Below, I have written below the diagram. Look here, students. Since X1, so by the time almost we have come 70% ahead. So X1 means, so what did I tell you in the beginning? As we move from left to right, A will be decreasing and B will be increasing now, students. Okay. Now the vapors coming off from this solution are represented by, or they are having a composition X1. So by the time we reach here, A is decreased and B will be more. Therefore, right here, since X1 is rich in B, since X1, inverted commas, is richer in B than X. Here B is less mark, but here B is more. Here A is more, here A is less. Okay. So try to understand. It will be more interesting if you once you understand. Since X1 is richer in B than X, comma, the composition of residual liquid means what? So whatever is being evaporated and whatever is remaining, okay? So without converting into vapor, that is called as residual liquid. The composition of residual liquid will be rich in A. The vapors coming off will have the composition X1. That means whatever vapor is coming off, that has more of B, and the remaining liquid will be rich in A. Now let it be represented by Y. Where is Y? Can you see in the graph? Here is Y. It is not here. This is residual liquid. This is vapors coming off. Okay. So now Y is left side of X. So it is rich in A or B? A, we started with 100%. Okay. So Y will be rich in A. So that's what I mentioned here, ma. Let it be represented by Y. This solution of composition Y having a different composition will boil at a higher. I am not writing again. Take a solution having the composition Y. Let it be heated. All those things I am not writing. Directly I am giving off. This solution having a composition Y with a different composition will boil at a higher temperature T1. Obviously, students, when we compare X and Y, Y is rich in A. Okay, so this will boil at a higher temperature denoted by T1, where X is boiling at T, whereas Y is boiling at the T1. Written, ma? So, the vapors which are coming off at T1. So, the vapors coming off when we are heating this solution having a composition Y which is rich in A. The vapors start coming off at the temperature T1, or we can say it starts boiling at a temperature T1. Okay, that all we have seen. Now write down, students. The vapors coming off at T1. The vapors coming off at T1 is the point here, ma. Okay, are also rich in B. Rich in B. Students, you should understand, when we are heating the residual liquid which is rich in A, it starts boiling at this temperature, and the vapors coming off at this particular temperature, if we observe the composition of the vapors coming out, they are rich in B. Okay, liquid component B as represented by the composition X2. So X2 is here. So here also if we observe the composition of the solution, it will be rich in B. Which one, students? Vapors coming off from Y. Okay, so this corresponds to the composition X2. That's what I have mentioned here. Full stop. Hence, the residual liquid will become more and more rich in A. So I have started anyways from here. So it will be again somewhere here we can mark it with another letter. Okay students, this is about the residual liquid. So we have taken a solution of composition X. It started boiling here, which has a composition X1, and the residual liquid, the remaining liquid is rich in A represented by Y, and when we are heating this one, it's boiling at a higher temperature, and the vapors coming off at that temperature are also rich in B, and whatever the liquid is remaining here after boiling, that was observed to contain more and more amount of liquid A. Okay, so therefore that sentence you can write, we need not again repeat the same. Hence the residual liquid will become more and more rich in liquid component A. Okay students, still here fine? Next, below that sentence write down. This liquid means what? Whatever residual liquid is we are talking about here, if we heat that residual liquid, it will boil at a higher temperature than T1. First what happened, we have taken here, it boiled at T, next Y when it boiled at T1, and the whatever residual liquid is remaining, that means whatever the liquid is remaining, if we boil that liquid, it will boil at a higher temperature, higher than T1, okay, full stop. Below write down students, thus, if the process continues, that means taking some solution of a composition, heating it, checking the composition of the vapors, checking the composition of the remaining liquid. So when we are heating this residual liquid, it is becoming more and more rich in the liquid component A. Suppose if this process continues, the boiling point of the solution will go on increasing from T. Where it started? From here it started, na? T, it will go up and until it reaches. Look here students. So because this is a small board, I could draw this much only, or else we can give some space here. Actually this point can be noted as TA, which is the boiling point of pure liquid component A. Okay students. So here thus if the process continues, the boiling point of the solution go on increases from T towards TA, which is the boiling point of pure liquid component A. So students, the conclusion of what all we have done till now can be quoted in one sentence. So below write down, not like continuation, below write down students. Correspondingly, the residual liquid will become more and more rich in A, capital A. Correspondingly, the residual liquid will become more and more rich in A, so ultimately only liquid A remains in the liquid phase. So ultimately only liquid A remains in the liquid phase. Okay, so we separated from the mixture of two liquids successfully liquid component A. Okay, okay students. Okay, that part is done. Next paragraph write down. So we have seen that the vapors coming off at the temperature T have a composition X1 which is rich in B. Write down. We know that, below write down. We know that the vapors coming off at the temperature capital T, the vapors coming off at the temperature capital T will have a composition X1 which is rich in B, capital B. Okay students? Now, if these vapors means what? Whichever vapors coming off at the temperature T. Okay, this portion ma. So if these vapors are condensed, what is the meaning? Condensing of vapors means what students? Vapor is in which phase? Gaseous phase. Condensing the vapor means we are converting into a liquid again. So, if these vapors are condensed, after condensing, we obtain the liquid from the vapors and the liquid is again distilled. Okay, that means again if we heat the solution and check, the new boiling point temperature will be T2, which we have not discussed till now. T2. We have seen T, T1, higher than T1 and also T. Okay, students. Now, what are we doing, ma? The vapors coming off at the temperature T, if they are condensed, that means if they are again converted back into liquid and if that liquid is distilled, the boiling point temperature was observed to be T2. The boiling point temperature will be T2. And now the vapors coming off at the temperature T2 will have a composition Z. Where is Z? Towards the dead end. Okay. That means there which component is high? Liquid B component is high. Okay, students. If these vapors are condensed and the liquid is again distilled, the new boiling point temperature will be what is this? T2, put it in inverted commas, and the vapors coming off at T2. The vapors coming off at T2 will have a composition capital Z, and thus the distillate will be rich in here and the distillate will be rich in B than before. Below that, write down, if this process of condensing the vapors, if this process of condensing the vapors and redistilling the liquid, if this process of condensing the vapors and redistilling the liquid obtained is continued, redistilling the liquid obtained continues, the distillate obtained will have almost the entire component of B. So what did you notice, students, from this process of condensing, redistilling? What did you observe from this? In the above process, we have separated pure liquid component A. In this process, we separated pure liquid component B. So here, when there is a mixture of two or more liquids having close boiling points, we can separate them by this process, okay, which is called as fractional distillation. So below write down. Finally, we could come to this definition of fractional distillation, students. Write down, the above process of separating a mixture of two or more liquids having close boiling points by repeated distillation and condensation. So what all we have done in the experiment? By repeated distillation and condensation is known as fractional distillation. Kindly put it in inverted commas, underline the definition, and also draw a line till here, students, and mark this as a very, very important question. I told you they might not ask you explain fractional distillation, but they might ask you in another way, that is boiling point temperature, composition curves explain of two liquids in both liquid and vapor phases. So please listen again and again so that my voice will be ringing in your ears through earphones and easily you can understand fractional distillation. So students, after fractional distillation, a small topic remaining behind, that is azeotropic mixtures, which are also called as constant boiling mixtures. Put the side heading, azeotropic mixture, students. Spelling azeotropic. Azeotropic mixtures, in the brackets you mention also as constant boiling mixtures. So what is an azeotropic mixture? Write down. A mixture of two or more liquids. A mixture of two or more liquids which boils at a constant temperature, and distills over completely at the same temperature. There is no change in this temperature, students. Look here. A mixture of two or more liquids which boils at a constant temperature, which is boiling and also distills over completely, which is getting purified at the same temperature without change in composition. Okay, so there is no change in the composition, is known as azeotropic mixture. Once again, a mixture of two or more liquids which boils at a constant temperature and also distills over completely at the same temperature without change in the composition is called as azeotropic mixture. And full stop. Azeotropic mixtures are classified into two types. You write down, I did not write here. Azeotropic mixtures are classified into two types. First one, put the side heading, minimum boiling azeotropic mixtures. Minimum boiling azeotropic mixtures. Underline. These are the solutions showing these means what? Minimum boiling azeotropic mixtures are the solutions showing large positive deviation from Raoult's law. Where did we come across this, students? We are almost at the end of the solutions. Have we come across somewhere in this semester or previous semester? Do you remember? Without turning back. If anybody remembers, please post in the comment section. A question for you, students. Where did we come across this one? These are the solutions showing large positive deviation from Raoult's law. This we are not learning new now. We have already come across this one. How many of you remember this? Without turning the pages back. Frankly, if you remember, please, at least there will be one student who will be sincerely learning immediately after the topic. Is anybody there? Okay, now I will tell you where we have studied this one. Under non-ideal solutions, we have come across three types, type 1, type 2 and type 3. This is type 2 solutions where they show or they deviate to a greater extent from Raoult's law. So these are nothing but the minimum boiling azeotropic mixtures. Example, water ethanol system. Water ethanol system. Showing large positive deviation from Raoult's law means the vapor pressure of these solutions are, that is, vapor pressure of these solutions are higher than that of the ideal solutions. Vapor pressure of these solutions are higher than that of the ideal solutions. Full stop. As vapor pressure is high, boiling point will be low. This way did we come across. This we have learned in under immiscible liquids. As vapor pressure is high, boiling point will be low because there is an inversely relation. These two are inversely proportional to one another. So vapor pressure is high means boiling point will be low. Therefore, this type of azeotropic mixtures have a boiling point lower than either of the two components. The reason for this also we have studied under immiscible liquids. Second one, maximum boiling azeotropic mixtures. Maximum boiling azeotropic mixtures. Underline. And these are the solutions which show negative deviation from Raoult's law. these are the solutions showing negative deviation from Raoult's law. Students, these are type 3 under non-ideal solutions. Example, water HCl system. That is showing negative deviation means the vapor pressure of these solutions are less than that of ideal solutions. So vapor pressure is low means boiling point will be high. As vapor pressure is low, boiling point will be high. Therefore, this type of azeotropic mixtures, have a boiling point higher than either of the two components. Will have a boiling point higher than either of the two components. Full stop. So this is nothing but maximum boiling azeotropic mixtures. Okay, students. So this is all about azeotropic mixtures, under which we have two types: minimum boiling and maximum boiling. This is a short answer question. Okay, they will ask you to tell you to explain about minimum boiling or maximum boiling, or they will ask you simply the definition of an azeotropic mixture. Okay, student. So finally my portion is done, my part is done, teaching you about the solutions. So we have completed the unit solutions. Now it is your time to start preparing for your exams. Okay, students. So we'll meet in the next class with a new topic. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.